So today we'll be discussing Faster-RCNN and YOLO, which are, in my view, the two fundamental object detectors that laid the foundations for all the later, more advanced object detectors that are in use today. The discussion is going to be high level, focused mainly on what these networks are predicting and the losses they use to get better at predicting. So the core architecture that both these models use is the CNN, or convolutional neural network. And I've made a video previously on this, but essentially the CNN breaks down an image into visual features, such as edges, and the deeper the network is, we'll learn more complicated features like corners or steps. So Faster-RCNN is essentially two models that are unified or trained with the same loss. The first model is the region proposal network. And this model basically tells us what regions are important or what regions likely contain an object. Next is the Fast-RCNN detector. And this model looks inside the region detections from the previous model, and it actually performs the object detection. So where is the object, regression, and what type of object is it, classification. So let's talk about the region proposal network some more. If we're trying to predict a box, we need something to reference it to, right? You can't just predict a box. Usually it's referenced to the origin, 0, 0, in our heads, right? But the point is we need something to reference to. And that's where these anchor boxes come in. And these anchor boxes are essentially predefined boxes that we use to reference our bounding box detection. So specifically, the values that we're predicting are how much we want to shift this anchor box or how much we want to scale or stretch the anchor box to basically predict our region. So the region proposal network is predicting how much we want to shift each anchor box and how much we want to scale each anchor box to get our region proposal. And then per each region proposal, we're essentially predicting, is there an object or is there not an object? So if we had k anchor boxes, then we would have 2 k-scores, binary classification, and we'd have 4 k-coordinates because there's 4 parameters we're predicting for the bounding box. Okay, so our region proposal network gave us a bunch of region predictions that it thinks have objects in them. So now what do? Well, the answer is we kind of do the same thing again, except this time, instead of referencing from an anchor box, we're going to reference from the region proposals themselves. So we're still predicting how much we want to shift the reference box and how much we want to scale the reference box. But the reference box is now the region proposal from the previous model, not these predefined anchor boxes we used. So on the regression side, we're still predicting the same 4 parameters. On the classification side, however, we're no longer predicting whether it's an object or not. We're predicting what exact object type it is. So this is the classes that you determine when you run this, whether it's a dog, cat, car, human, etc. So Faster-RCNN is a 2-stage detector, and you can kind of see why it's called that. It has the first stage, the region proposal network, where we're predicting regions, and the second stage is the actual object detector. Now, moving on to YOLO. YOLO is a single stage detector, so we no longer have a region proposal network. And instead of predefined anchor boxes, we simply divide the image into grid cells, and we use the grid cell themselves as the anchor box. So for this single stage detector, per grid cell, so for each of these, we directly predict 3 things. So classification loss works similarly to above. We're predicting whether it's a dog, cat, car, or human. Bounding box is defined a little differently. So instead of referencing from an anchor box or a region detection, we are basically referencing from the image itself. So now we're predicting the center of what we think the box is, offset from the top left corner of each grid cell. So for each grid cell, we're predicting a center of the bounding box. Now, we're also predicting what we believe is the height and width of the bounding box. And the height and width is defined as a fraction of the entire image height and width. So if we predicted a height of 0.5, that means we think the height is half the entire image's height. So the bounding box would be at least this tall. Lastly, we're also predicting whether it's an object or not via confidence score. So you can see all the bounding box and confidence score detections for all of these grid cells here, as well as the classification predictions here for each class. So yellow's likely bike and blue is likely dog. And lastly, there's some processing that happens. Basically, we keep the highest confidence boxes, and this is how we get our final detections here. So YOLOv3, as the title suggests, makes a lot of small improvements, but chiefly two. So we're still dividing the image into grid cells, and we're still using the grid cells to reference the regression. But on the classification side, instead of a softmax multi-class classification, we are basically doing n binary classifications for n classes. So instead of assigning n scores for each box to determine what class it is, we're basically doing a binary classification for each box to determine if it belongs to this class or not. Now on the regression side, the center of the box we're predicting remains the same. We're still predicting the offset from the top left corner of each grid cell, so this red dot or this blue dot. But instead of referencing height and width to the entire image's height and width, we reintroduce anchor boxes, specifically 3 for each cell. And what we're predicting specifically is a multiplier for each anchor box's width and height to determine our predicted bounding box's width and height. So in a way, we're still predicting how to stretch and shift the anchor box. So after YOLOv3 is when the original author, Joseph Redman, basically stopped developing the YOLO series. So from here, it becomes difficult to track as several people took over the basically continuance of YOLO. But in my personal opinion, I think YOLOv8 in 2026 is still the most widely used variant. I think YOLOv11 is a close second, but essentially this is the entire architecture of YOLOv8. There's a lot of abstractions here. So this C2F block is pretty important. This is basically the main convolutional block. And you can see it's abstracted here in the high-level architecture. But for the purposes of our discussion, the classification loss, while it's optimized from YOLOv3, which I won't get into, it largely remains the same. We're still doing n binary classifications for n classes. So you can see NC here and binary cross entropy loss here. Now bounding box regression is once again changed. So we're basically predicting the distance from each cell center to the 4 sides of our predicted bounding box. So that's how we're defining our bounding boxes, and we're no longer using anchor boxes. So those are some of the main changes from YOLOv3 to YOLOv8, although there were many other optimizations made that you can find details on online. So that concludes our crash course on the last decade of object detection research. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and let me know if this was useful.